program. Okay, shall we start?
Yep.
Okay, meeting will please come to order. Assuming minutes have been taken. So why does this say special meeting, by the way? Does anybody know?
Because it's at 5:30 and not 6:30.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Gee, did we give a week's notice in the day? The meeting may be illegal. Anyway, meeting will please come to order. Are there any citizen petitions?
Yes, there is a citizen here.
Oh, okay.
I'll allow them to talk. Okay.
Hi, I'm from the Connecticut Examiner, a newspaper. Okay,
We can't hear you?
can't hear me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, good. So I'm Kate Hewitt. I'm from the Connecticut Examiner newspaper, and I'm just following some of the issues concerning the Northwest Interceptor, I think it's called, for the that's on the agenda.
Sorry, what is your name?
Kate. My name's Kate, and my last name is Hewitt, and it's E-W-I-T-T.
Kate Hewitt?
Right.
You said.
Oh. Okay. Not on my copy of the agenda, but okay. So what have you got?
What do I see on your agenda?
No, Dave, she just introduced herself and indicated that she was interested in the Northwest Interceptor, which we'll talk about later in the agenda.
Okay,
Right.
so she's just listening at this point.
I'm just going to listen. I'm going to put myself on mute, okay? Thanks.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the meeting. We've got two sets of minutes to look at. Has anybody got any corrections? September 8th?
No, I move that we approve September 8th.
Second. Sorry.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Moved and saying, okay, those minutes are approved. So they have about the October. Any corrections on that one?
I move we approve them.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 It's at the October 13th. Communications and bills. We have anything?
No.
No. Consultant reports.
No reports.
We got all this stuff from Fuss and O'Neill. I'm not quite sure what, are we going to discuss that now or later?
That's in the
Later.
old business. It's under old business, Dave.
Okay, very good. So changes to a sewer use list? None?
There was just several houses that connected to sewer in the last month, and, started sewer use billing too. That's about it.
Well, you didn't list any of them. Are you supposed to, or do we need to
Do you
know?
want everyone listed? I can do that.
Do we really need to know every house that gets connected?
It's up to you guys.
I don't feel like I need to.
No, I don't either.
Neither do I.
Why we ever have, we've for years, we've been, for quite a few years, they presented this change it to a use list, and the authority had to approve them. And I never understood that, and I don't understand why we even need to know about it. But I guess now we don't even have the.
Dave, are you near your other computer? Because I think there's some feedback when you talk.
You have two phones on, maybe?
If you have two mics on, that causes feedback.
Two lights on?
Two microphones. If your computer is on, it's also picking up your voice.
Oh.
If it's on close by, so that because we can see.
Is it any better now?
We'll see.
I had my handheld right on top of the desktop. Now it's separate.
But it would have to be muted from one.
Pardon?
Can you mute one? There's a red button for mute.
I might be able to mute it. Let's see.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I can do that. Does that help it?
I think so.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Very good. Well, I pushed the red button on my handheld, and the red button is still there, but ooh, different speed.
Well, okay.
Rules of modern technology. All right.
Wait a minute, Dave. If you're using your handheld, if that's what you're using to give us your image, you want to mute on the other device, not on your handheld.
Oh. Problem is, I have no idea how to do that.
Well, maybe if you go somewhere else away from your computer, that might work.
Wait just a second here.
Well, the computer,
Or turn your computer off.
yeah, but now he's gone, so.
Well, no.
I just moved the computer.
Okay.
All right. So now we're good?
I think so. Sounds better.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there an attorney's report?
No report.
Public Works Director's report.
Okay, sure. We on projects, we have the Gosco pump station improvements out to bid. The bid openings on November 19th. And we also have wet well ventilation improvements at Gravel Street pump station out to bid. It's also the same day, the 19th.
I have a problem here. I can't hear as well as I could. Can you up the volume?
What's that, Dave? I can't hear you.
Well, I can't hear.
Okay. And we also have a bid out for closed circuit television cameras to replace some faulty ones at the treatment plant, which is a security issue. That'll be opened up towards the end of November. So those are the projects we currently have out to bid. As far as the assistant director position, we had two possible candidates. One of them, after doing a background check, proved that they weren't going to be a viable candidate. And the second one, we had an interview all scheduled and he didn't show up. So
Oh, no.
back out and looking at the end of November to keep that open till. So that's where that's at. Other than that, I have no other news to report at this time.
Because you don't need to be in here.
Well, I can't hear anything.
Ah, you sound good now.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah. God knows, I'm listening in on Barbara's phone now. Are you still talking?
Yep. We're still here.
Okay, okay. Well, I don't understand what's going on, but
Muted yourself, I guess.
how did I do that?
Okay, there are the other three people.
Okay,
I'm gonna come back in 1 minute.
okay. Barbara, turn it off, please.
David, what room?
Just turn it off. I don't know, but it was working and now it's not, so.
No, it's still not.
We can still hear you, Dave. We can see you too.
Yeah, we can hear you fine now.
That's because
Okay.
he's using my phone.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
also because I made her turn off the microwave.
Okay. Well, we're up to the water pollution control facility report on the agenda.
Yeah, okay. That's not this, all this Fuss and O'Neill stuff, I guess.
No. This is just the monthly report showing the flows and the nitrogen levels. For October was 103 pounds per day, which is well below our 153. And talking to Harry Clark at the plant, we're on target to be below our 153 for the whole year, which is good. So we won't owe any money to DEP.
Yeah.
Credits.
Not a great deal of money as those things go, but nice anyway.
It can be. Some towns owe a lot of money because they don't take care of the nitrogen properly.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
well, whatever is my attitude. If we don't get any complaints about things smelling bad, I tend to think everything's good. Okay, so is there any comments on the report other than what we just got?
I don't have any comments.
Yeah, okay. WPCA Chairman's report, I have no report. So back to the Beard Brewery. What's happening there?
Well, they're still working on putting in their flow meter and sampling manhole, but in the meantime we have gone ahead and we're now billing them at the commercial rate for the water they're using, and we're also back billed them for 2 years that they weren't billed. So that our tax department will be sending out that bill probably this week to them. They know it's coming.
How much per month is it roughly?
I don't know. I'll get that number for you next week, or the next meeting rather. Sorry.
Are they complaining bitterly or what?
No, because we couldn't really charge them the industrial surcharge for them because we don't really have data to apply it to. But once we start getting that information, that their rate is going to go up, quite a bit. So I don't think they really have much to complain about.
Yeah, and this information is waiting on putting in the flow meter. Is that it?
Yeah, because they want to be billed for the actual flow that they're putting into our system versus what the water they're using. Because the beer making process, obviously they're using a lot of the water for making beer, and it goes out in the can. So we're charging them for all the water coming into the place right now.
Well, we're not.
Have a flow meter in.
The water people are, right?
Well, we get the water meter readings right from Groton Utilities. And we use those meter readings every month to send them a bill.
Oh,
That's what we do for all commercial properties.
Oh, I see. By we, you mean the town, not the water pollution board.
Correct, the town, yes.
Yeah, I see. So is there a flow meter there now?
No.
Oh,
That's what they're working on getting installed.
how can we bill them if there's no flow meter?
No, we're billing them based on the water that they're using.
Oh, we meter the water.
Yes, Groton Utilities does, but yes.
I see.
Yeah, he just explained that.
Okay. Is there a time estimate on when they're going to get the flow meter in?
I have not gotten that yet, but, you know, I giving them a reasonable amount of time, say a few months maybe.
Okay, it strikes me that we're shooting ourselves in our foot if we don't make them put it in as soon as possible. Or have I got something wrong?
No, that's right. And so some of this will come back to again in the new business under the DEP, new general permit for industrial users.
Mm-hmm.
We'll revisit this again.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we're still working on all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Why is it taking so long? Is this just the way it always goes?
Well, I'm sure, you know, they're dragging their feet a little bit because they don't want to start spending all this money because the upfront capital costs for this manhole flow meter and the sampling station is, you know, $20,000-$30,000. So
Yeah.
And
That's precisely what I was thinking to myself. They seem to be dragging their feet. Is the beard thing open now? It is, I guess, huh?
I believe it is. Yeah, I've not been over there myself, but I believe it is open.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly curbside, but I've been there because the cheese company's next door.
Is the cheese companies working too?
Yes.
And
I don't know whether or not they have an issue as far as the water is concerned and the outflow. I mean, they must use, I don't know how much water you use to make cheese.
So I guess, Greg, that is the meter that's getting put in, the flow meter that's getting put in. Will that just capture Beard's, what Beard puts out? Or will it capture both what Beard puts out and what the cheese company puts out?
It'll capture both because there's only one sewer lateral coming out of the building. It's a common building.
Okay.
And so it'll capture both companies. As
So
well
then
as
they'll have to figure out how they divvy
they'll have
it
to
up.
figure out internally how they want to divvy it up. Exactly.
That'll be their problem, not ours.
But we are also
thought
putting the cheese.
I thought I
company
understood once that the cheese process was the source of most of the pollution.
I don't know if it is, Dave.
Okay, so that's still on hold, huh?
Other than at least we're getting some money in from them now.
Oh, we are getting some. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
good.
or we will be, yes.
Will be, yeah.
Once the tax
Okay.
goes out.
Yeah. Well, okay, very good. So now this Northwest Interceptor capacity model.
Yep, we had Fuss O'Neill here at the last meeting, went through their findings for modeling for the sewer flows for the whole Northwest Interceptor. And then I attached in the agenda package, basically the report that they provided me, which kind of gives a breakdown of their summary of their findings,
Yeah.
as well as some, graphs if you really want to get into the inflow, infiltration, and the pumping capacity of all the pump stations. I talked to them and they're going to give me some recommendations on what we should be doing. But some of the things are, as we talked about at the last meeting, was looking at the old Navy housing, see if there's any inflow coming in from there that we should be taking care of. I noticed that the Tower Avenue pump station has a lot of inflow during rain events, and it's coincidentally, that's the one that takes care of Beard Brewery, but that has nothing to do with it. But it also takes care of the airport. And,
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering if there's a lot of drains or floor drains or something that is tied into the sewer system that is
That comes from the airport?
coming, from the airport into that pump station. So that's, another thing that we'll be looking at. So there's a number of things that we're going to take a look at to try to limit the inflow.
Maybe if you're worried about the airport, you ought to find out what of the stuff in the sewer is oil, which I guess breweries don't generate, but airports probably do. What a petroleum-based stuff.
Right.
Do you normally analyze that?
If there's a problem, we do. Typically the airport, and all the repair facilities would have oil water separators in them. And I know that like the National Guard does. We've inspected those. But the airport itself, I'm not sure.
Well, has a really stupid suggestion. Have you thought of just taking a sample of the sewage and putting it in a beaker and sitting it on the shelf and seeing if some oil separates out of the top?
I mean, I'll ask Harry and Smitty if they can test for that.
That might be interesting. If it's negative, that's a good thing, and if it's positive, then we might have to look into it some more, perhaps.
Do you think you could just sort of tell us what you think are the sort of highlights of this report? The things that we should be most aware of?
I think the biggest one is the Connecticut River Pump Station. As they said, it's, when we get a lot of rain events, it gets right up to capacity. So if we can't find sources and start eliminating those, that's a pump station that we may have to keep an eye on to increase its capacity.
Well, it strikes me that this is perpetual. Every time there's a rainstorm, you tend to get more stormwater into the sewage plant, which we should try and make not happen, but it always does. And in that time, why the residence time of the sewage in the plant is less, and the amount of bad stuff that leaks out is more. But we sort of traditionally have just said, well, as long as the average flow is not bad, we don't worry about that too much. Am I missing something there?
No, I mean, it's very typical, to have stormwater get into your sewer system. You're right. You try to eliminate as much as you can, but you don't want to pay to process that.
Yeah.
But it's virtually impossible to get rid of all of it.
Yeah. And typically we haven't worried about it. Should we be worrying about it?
Well, yeah, we should be. I mean, that's why we're doing this study and looking at different places where it might be coming in. And then we do some relining. Like a number of years ago, we relined all the sewer mains and put in new laterals in Fort Hill Homes, which is the old.
Yep. Remember that? Yep.
And that significantly dropped the flow coming in from that area. In fact, we had a lot of complaints about people getting water in their basement after we did that, because the groundwater was now not going into the sewer, going into their basement, because it was actually.
I remember that. Yes. Well, we
do want to, actively pursue these areas where we have problems.
Yeah. Do you see any possibility of wanting to actually recommend digging up in the ground and digging up some pipes and replacing them?
Typically, we don't do that. We do in place linings. They put in there's a few different processes to use to put a liner through the pipe while it's, they plug it up, and then they use heat or steam and kind of it blows itself up and forms a new liner inside the pipe.
It's sort of
Did
plastic.
they do that on the Mystic Noank Road?
They did a portion there, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's,
so the plastic sock business is what they did in Fort Hill.
yeah. Then they go back in after the fact and cut out all the laterals. But I think they missed one on like Ledger Road, if I remember right. Somebody had a little surprise in there. Sewer backed up.
Yes, yes. Unpleasant surprises, yes.
But yeah, that's a lot more cost effective than digging up and replacing pipe.
Yes, yes, yes. So at this moment, do you consider it a priority thing? Are we going to actually go and propose spending a lot of money doing it, or is it, or what?
That I don't know yet. I mean, we're still on the, investigative portion of it right now.
I see. Okay, okay. Yeah, just the one minor point in the third of the open bullets is the phrase, there are numerous invert discrepancies within the collection system. What is an invert discrepancy?
The invert is the elevation of the bottom of the pipe at the manhole.
Uh-huh.
And
You mean something has to flow uphill? Is that it?
well, that's what the model's saying. But the reality is that the numbers could be just some wrong data that they're putting in from GIS. So that, I've identified that as a project, one of my techs can do this winter, just to kind of go through the model that they used or GIS and see that all the inverts are correct based on our actual sewer as-built drawings.
So you're saying there may be an inversion and there may not.
Correct.
I see. Okay. I love jargon. I just found a new piece of jargon there. Invert discrepancy. Okay. So I gather we don't see any real serious problems in the Northwest Interceptor. Is that true?
That's true, yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's good news. And these other things, the Burgess Station and the Lestertown Station and the Tower Avenue Station, there no real problems there.
Well, Tower Avenue is one at the airport, so but we have to look at that. But no, there's no real problems.
Tower Avenue is the airport, I see, okay. But the others not?
No, they're small pump stations. There's no problems with those.
Yeah. Trails Corner, I never even heard of that. Yeah, okay. Okay, so so I guess there isn't a great deal of thing that's of any horrible concern. You're still looking into
Yeah, we'll
something.
be looking into it. And, a lot of this infiltration study actually has to be done in the springtime during the rainy portion of the year. So it'll be a little while before we have some results.
We have to sort of wait for the weather to accommodate you or present you with the chance to get data. Okay. Very good. Let's see, where are we at now?
Was there a question that the reporter had?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, Mr. Reporter, Ms. Reporter, are you have any comments?
No questions right now. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Are you finding all this worth your while?
There's a lot of information here, so I'm just trying to get a handle on it. But it's interesting. Yeah. Interesting.
If you wanted to look at this whole report, you'd find lots of
I started reading it, the Fuss and O'Neill report. I've read parts of it, so I thought I'd see. Yeah, there's a lot there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've over the years we've dealt with Fuss and O'Neill quite a lot. They've helped us with the expert advice and so forth quite a lot, and part of an ongoing. As I say, my general idea is that if nobody complains about the water stinking, why the rest of it's not too bad. Okay. are we done with the Northwest Interceptor capacity model?
Well, so I guess one last, so Greg, you'll come back at subsequent meetings and tell us if you're sort of what follow-up items you might see out of this.
Correct. Yep.
Great, thanks.
Follow up will presumably it won't be before the spring where you get to do this test.
Yeah, I might have some areas identified that we're going to look at before then, but I'll keep you updated as we go along.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. What is this deep general permit for industrial users?
This is just, well, this is a new deep permit that I just wanted to bring to your attention because it does involve you in potentially putting some fees to things. I think I included the fact sheet. It's like a 7-page fact sheet. And
Sorry, the back sheet.
Permit here. I spared you sending you the 74-page actual permit, but it is online if you're really interested.
Uh-huh. Oh, is this thing that I've got said environmental permitting fact sheet? That's it?
That's it. So
And
essentially what DEEP has done, they permitted all these miscellaneous industrial users, whether it's a car wash, what else was there, like vehicle maintenance facilities, swimming pools, all these people that discharge into our system, they issued permits for, and they charged a fee, and they were, kind of took care of this. Well, in an effort on their part to kind of get rid of some of their workload, they passed this all down to each individual municipality now.
Mhm.
And this became effective about a week and a half ago. That the town of Groton now and all the other wastewater plants are now going to be responsible for administering these general permits for all these businesses.
Uh-huh.
So, and as part of that, they've also said that while what is it, that they require notification that has to be to the sewer authority, and the sewer authority at their discretion can or cannot charge a fee if they wish to. So the state did charge fees for these things. And this is all pretty new to me, so I'm just kind of getting my feet wet right now. I hope I can get some more information for the next meeting. But there's, a number of businesses in town that, fall under this permit. And one of the interesting things was, and I'm looking at on page 2, under group 1 discharge, people that less than 25,000 gallons per day, it says food processing wastewater, and then in parentheses it says including breweries and distilleries.
Oops.
Our friends at Beards are going to get caught in this permit.
Oh, wow. So before it was just us worrying them. Now the state is pushing us to.
Now they're getting caught up in the state, yes. Because I think, when they first came to town, they told Chris Lund that, they didn't need a permit. They fell under so many, I don't know, whatever 1,000 gallons per day, they're under that threshold. But now they're not going to be able to avoid any permitting.
Oh, wow. Well, I keep thinking that when you go to a place like beer, they charge you $6 or $7 for a glass of beer that if you just went and bought it at the Stop and Shop would be $1. So they got a good deal of latitude for making money.
I don't think it's quite that simple, Dave.
Yeah.
Well,
Greg,
isn't it? Yeah. Well, anyway, I was being facetious, but okay. So that's again is something you're going to be working through.
Yeah, I got to work closely with Harry down at the plant on how we're going to administer this, what the impacts are going to be to operations and see if, I mean, if you're amenable to charging these businesses a small fee, then, we can take a look at that. We're talking like $500, $600, something like that. That's what the state was charging them previously.
What, per year?
I believe per year, yes.
Yeah. So, you say the state has been charging these various people.
Well, yeah, this was a state permit that they've kindly transferred all the responsibility to the towns now. So we are responsible for administering these permits, and then they've given us the ability to charge fees if we want to.
That strikes me as a step backwards. Before there was one organization doing all the paperwork. Now there's as many organizations as there are municipalities in the state.
Yeah, it's surprisingly though that most states, the towns have been doing this for years.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Huh.
Connecticut was one of the few states where they were kind of doing this, at the state level.
Well, I assume that if we charge a fee, we keep the money.
Yeah, it would go into the 2020 account, or
Yeah. Presumably as compensation for money we're spending on the.
yeah, that's like I see what the impacts are to our operations. If it's very little, then we can charge a corresponding fee. But if there's a lot of work involved in this, then we have
Yeah.
So is the state going to tell us they issued permits for each individual business? Is that how it worked? And so are they going to tell us who they have permits issued for currently?
Yeah, they did. There is on their list right now is 11 permittees. But I'm looking at this list. It's the sub-base, the National Guard, the airport, state DOT, which assumes their garage, Groton Public Works. And then for private, it's Antino Acura, Family Motors, Quick and Clean Car Wash, Family Car Wash, Submarine Car Wash, and Coastal Petroleum. That strikes me as there's a lot of businesses out there that don't have permits that probably should. And I think this was one of the issues that a lot of the municipalities had when the state was talking about doing this was, the state wasn't going after people to begin with, and now they're going to, force this on us, and it's going to be up to us, to go after some of these businesses.
So you're saying that the state may have been missing some people that should have been billed?
I'm guessing they're missing a lot of people, Dave, by looking at this list.
Well, we've got 2 breweries in town, so neither one of them were on your list.
Where's the other brewery?
The Outer Lights, or whatever the hell the name of it is. It's near the bowling alley.
Oh yeah. Well, so more work, huh?
More work for us, yes.
But perhaps some more money, perhaps.
Perhaps. I don't know that it necessarily offset the amount of work. We'll have to wait and see.
So I think I've asked this before, but so these would be businesses that connect to our sewer. So Electric Boat and Pfizer, are they separate, or do they connect to our sewer? How's that?
No, they're in the city of Groton sewer, so they don't connect to the town sewer. But
Gotcha.
they're such a big industrial user, they would have a separate permit. This permit is for smaller industrial users that I think is 25,000 gallons a day or less.
Yeah.
So the real big companies, and in Groton we have Doncasters, and I don't know, there's another company right there, I can't think of the name of it. They have their own individual permits because they generate such a large amount of wastewater, industrial wastewater. And that would still fall under the state DEP permits that they.
Oh, the state still deals with them. So
yeah, the state still deals with them.
The state deals with EB and Pfizer?
Yep.
Yeah, I see. Okay, well, sounds like more fun.
So I'll have more news later as I get into this.
Okay. Well, is there any, I guess that's all that's on the agenda.
So I guess I had so last time in our discussion about Beard and you mentioned, you know, you're not, until they have the flow meter in, we can't consider the industrial surcharge, whatever it's called. But the question had been raised about re-looking at that. And you had said potentially you were going to do that through a contract that you had upcoming.
Yeah.
Is that, do we have sort of a timeline for when that would occur?
Yeah, the contract's been signed, and they're actually having a kickoff meeting with the consultants, O'Neill again, next week. So I'll get a schedule at the next meeting to let you know, when we should do that.
I'm sorry, this is a thing between Fuss and O'Neill and dealing with the Beard people?
Well, no, Fuss O'Neill's looking at a 10-year capital improvement plan for all the plant and the pump stations for us. We do this update every 10 years or so.
Oh, I
And
see.
one of the things
Okay.
one of the things we're looking at is the sewer use rate study, we call it, which is, making sure that we're charging adequately for commercial and residential, but also looking at this industrial surcharge formula to see if it should be adjusted since it was last revised in 1985.
So presumably looking at that, the rates would be something that could be a relatively short-term effort, whereas doing the whole 10-year plan, I assume, would take somewhat longer.
I would think so, yes.
Okay, so we won't have to wait for the report on the rates till they've done the whole analysis.
Yeah, no, I intend to, put a priority on the industrial surcharge formula because that's,
Yeah.
going to impact their sewer use fees.
Well, when is Fuss and O'Neill going to be done with their thing?
I don't know, Dave. We're meeting next week with them. It's a first meeting, so I don't have a schedule from them yet.
Presumably it won't take a whole lot of time. Or will it?
I shouldn't think so.
Yeah. Okay, well, sounds like we're going to have things to look forward to next meeting. Is there anything else?
I have nothing.
Okay, well, are we ready to adjourn then?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Okay, meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Bye, Dave. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.